Welcome back to Pointer. So previously we discussed iterating shapes using a tribble, and what we had was multiple rows for each shape, and we assigned particular values like the stroke or the fill or whatever as the columns. And that gave you the impression perhaps that, okay, columns in the tribble are either points or they're attributes that are used for the drawing. Not totally true. And I'm going to try to show you that next. So first I'm going to go down. First let me show you the dippet. These are the dippets, drag and drop snippets, and I'm going to pull off the fill just so you can see. And now when I go down, the fill's not there. If I go again, I can add the fill back, and then I go down, up, down, and the fills are there. So in general, you'll be able to control what you see in the drag and drop bar here, but for the time being I'm just going to pull something over and commit it, and there you have a cubic spline. And the C is actually what dictates that it's a cubic spline. There's a command that says move to, and then a cubic spline, which is going from through these 3 points. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to generate this D. The D is a descriptor, path descriptor, using points. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a point up here. All right, that's nice. I'm going to add a column. I'm going to call the column command. I'm going to initialize it with a single character, M. I'm going to do a commit. And I have an M and that point. Okay. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to create another row. And I'm going to add 1 point in that row. And if I go back to command, I can edit that via the picker and change that to backspace L, enter, and now I have an L here. It's a lot easier though just to type it in. Well, in any case, let's go back to the points. Let's split again, and now I'm going to add 2 points. Okay, 1, 2, that's 2 points. And I'm going to call this Q, and then I'm going to split it, and then I'm going to commit, split again, and now I'm going to do 3 points. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to make that a shift C, as in cubic spline. Going to now create my descriptor by saying D is going to be, whoa, arrow. It's going to be unlist, which takes things out of and flattens them. And I'm going to do a P map over my pointer. Pointer $X, and that's it. Oh, I have to give you an argument. I have to give you an argument for that. A function. Well, the function's going to be C, which is concatenate. All right. Now, it's telling me that I've got comma issues. Well, actually, it's not a comma issue. It's that I'm missing a parentheses. But okay, it tells me I've got a problem. Now, let's do a commit. Nothing changed because I didn't change the D. So let's change the D. Okay, commit. All right, there we have a line going straight down. Then we have a quadratic that goes over to here, and then we have a cubic. Notice that this is the cubic. This from here to here is the tangent line to this point, this final point. Here to here is the tangent line for this point. For the quadratic, the tangent let's go over to quadratic. No, that's not the quadratic, that's the quadratic. For the quadratic, from here to here is the tangent line for that, and the tangent line for this is here. And this, by the way, is the linear, and it's just going straight down. If I wanted to close this figure, what I would do is that I would add another instruction which says close, and I would add a matrix. Now, it doesn't actually really matter because it's going to ignore this last value, but psychologically it's probably better to say let's have an empty matrix. Remember that, okay, the empty matrix is created by, okay, this says, okay, fill everything with a 0. We want 2 rows and 0 columns, which is empty. Okay, commit, and that closes it. And that is delightful. So how do we use this? Let's use this in a different way. Now I'm going to do something different. I'm going to go and add a rectangle. Okay, let's see if I can find myself a rectangle. Here's a rectangle. This is a rectangle where the point that it's referencing is at the upper left-hand corner of the rectangle. So if I commit this, I should have a rectangle. Okay, yeah, fine. All right, I don't like it to be quite so fat. I'm going to make this something like C 20 by 30. Make the stroke blue. And oh no, let's make it red. And let's make the stroke width to be equal to 5. So now I have a rectangle. You can see it. But instead, I'm going to now change the position. What I want is I want it to be at I want to grab the first 2 numbers out of D. That would be in position, well, the first D is actually M, and then 74, 58, L, 61, 352, etc., etc. So I just want to get the 74, 68. So this is coordinate 1, coordinate 2, coordinate 3. If I look at just the underlying portion of D. So I'm going to do D bracket 2 colon 3. And I've now positioned it to the upper left-hand corner of the very first point. Now, what I want to do is I want to do animate motion. And in case you don't know about animate motion, we can look it up. Animate motion has works on shape elements, and you can do things like move them around. You're going to want to have a begin. You're going to want to have a fill, and you're going to want to have a duration. Those are definitely important. Let's look at the fill. The fill can be freeze or remove. We're going to use a freeze. Okay, so let's try that again. Animate motion. Okay. Oh, I have to have. Let's go back. One other thing I forgot. Animate motion. We need to tell it where is it? Path. We need to tell it the path, and the path is just the usual path. Okay. Let's try this again. Animate motion. Okay, D equals D. Fill equals R-E-E-Z-E, comma, begin equals 0, comma, and duration equals, let's say, 10 seconds. Okay, what is this? D is not an attribute of animating motion. All right, let's go back to the user guide, pull that over, and let's look at this again. Okay, so I'm going to do Apple F or Control F, look at animate motion. Animate motion, begin, blah, blah, fill, remove, dir. Oh, there is from to path. Why did I? Yeah, we said path was an attribute. P-A-T-H. So now we can go back. We could do commit. All right. Problem is that, okay, this should be, I moved this 0, 0. Now it will be okay. So that pretty much tells you everything I want to say about animating a shape along a path, at least for now. And I guess the moral of the story is learn how to read. Thank you, and have a nice day.